Good morning. My name is Prashant Singh Bhadoria. I am the Deputy Project Manager for HTT-40, the basic trainer aircraft which we are developing for the Indian Air Forces and the other customers. This project was started in 2013. The detailed design was completed within 2 years, which was August 2015. And in a span of 11 months from there, we had the first flight on 31st May 2016. This team is headed by the youngest team ever at HAL. The average age of all the guys is close to 30 years, which is unusual in the current setup which we have. There's been a dedicated team working 24/7 on this aircraft program to make it fly in a record time. I'll briefly introduce you with the specifications of the project and then where do we stand today. It's got a turboprop engine which is from Messrs Honeywell, TP331-12B. It's got 1100 sharp horsepower, fairly modular, and it's already common with the Dornier 228 aircraft which HAL is making. It's got a 0-0 ejection seat which is from Martin Baker, far better than the competitive aircraft which have got a 0-60 ejection seat. It's an entire glass cockpit. The aircraft has got a max speed of 450 km per hour, can go to an altitude of 6 km with a climb rate of 6 meters per second. It has got a retractable undercarriage, can go to 6 Gs positive and 2.5 Gs negative. It's got a wing dihedral for better stability, aerodynamic stability. The interesting thing about this aircraft is the content of indigenization we have. Out of the 90 LRUs which are there on this aircraft, 75 come from HAL sister division. The rest out of it, 15 come from the private sector and 10 of them come from the abroad sources, namely the engine and the ejection seat. Other interesting participation of the private sector is on the hardware of this aircraft. Out of the 4,500 parts, 3,000 parts are fabricated by the local MSMEs and private players. And that's how we have been able to cut down the development time and the manufacturing time of this aircraft. The participation of the private players is a key for the success. We are going to make 3 prototype aircrafts and 2 static test specimens, which will be used for the ground test. We are also planning to have a weaponized version of this aircraft at the later stages of the project. This aircraft was completely funded using internal funds of HAL. Close to 500 crores have been invested on this project, and we intend to develop it and get it certified by 2018. I'll walk you along the aircraft to show the specifications of it in detail. This is a 4-bladed propeller which is coming from Messrs Hertzl. The entire engine design, the interface was worked along with Messrs Honeywell so that we don't have any major interface issues when we put the engine on, and that's how we could cut down the overall engine integration time and get a recovery factor of 99.1% for this particular air intake and engine combination, which is highest in the category. Again, the cockpit view is fairly good. You have the trainee who sits in the front cockpit, you have a trainer who sits in the rear cockpit. The cockpits are similar, but the trainer has the provision to override any features should there be a requirement as far as safety concerns. An interesting thing on the aircraft is the bird Phoenix. It has a specific requirement there. We intended to have it there to highlight the evolution of this program. HAL had trainers always at its core business. So the last well-known trainer was the HPT-32, which got grounded in 2009. And this is the Phoenix, which arose from the ashes of the HPT-32 after a tough fight along with the environment existing. The Indian Air Force is now currently supporting the program. We have a confirmed order for 70 aircraft, which shall be delivered by 2021. We are also looking to cater for the export market, and that's where the weaponization aspect will come up. The price of the aircraft will be close to 42 crores, which will be cheapest in the category of this sort of aircraft. The tail number there, TSR-002, is the second prototype. TSR stands for the initials of our chairman, T. Suvarna Raju. It was our dedication for him supporting the program and making sure it has got all the support to come out in flying colors. So that's why we have TSR-002 evolved over there. As I said, we have a 0-0 ejection seat. So that implies if the pilot is on ground at 0 speed, he can safely eject without any major harm. What we have on the competitive aircraft, which is currently with the Air Force, is a 0-60 ejection seat. So as long as you have speeds higher than 90 km per hour, that aircraft ejection is safe. Otherwise, you have certain risks associated should you do an ejection before that. The cockpit is fully glass cockpit with 3 MFDs, smart MFDs. It can also be upgraded to have a heads-up display and cater for weaponization platform, and that's been an advantage throughout. All the systems are state-of-art, most of them coming from indigenous sources, and that's why we'll be able to support it for the next 30 to 40 years, which typically is the life cycle of any program of the Indian Air Force. This is the flight test boom, which gets you the air data parameters, the angle of attack and the angle of side slip pins, which is displayed to the pilot continuously. As a safety factor, all the parameters of the aircraft are relayed in real time to a telemetry, which is monitored by a bunch of designers and flight test directors, and the pilot is accordingly warned for various safety aspects, that is. So safety has been paramount consideration on this program. The wing has got a dihedral of 6 degrees and also an inbuilt twist, which is not very evident to the camera, but what that helps the aircraft is in recovering faster for stall and spin maneuvers. That's been another design feature which we have embedded. We have done extensive internal testing. Close to 700 test cases were implemented, and the overall shape of the aircraft evolved from there. We are also doing the spin and stall test at Onera, France, where we actually do the spin characteristics mapping of this aircraft, and subsequently, once we are assured that yes, the aircraft will behave well, we take up the spin trials, which is the most critical phase of the program. The test results have been satisfactory, and by the middle of this year we should undertake the spin and stall test regime. That's a rudder. It's a fairly large rudder which gives quite a bit of agility for the pilots to maneuver it in the lateral and the longitudinal directions in combination with the rest of the control surfaces. It's an all-metal aircraft. There's no composites used currently, but over a period of time to cut down the flap from the aircraft, we might consider using composite items. But yes, the cost of the aircraft stays paramount, so we are keen to keep the cost well within the reach of the customer. All the systems, all the structural components, be it the canopy, it's made at aircraft division. The landing gear is made in the aircraft division again. A lot of accessories come from HAL Lucknow, HAL Korwa and HAL Hyderabad. Other unique thing of the project has been the participation of the certification agencies. CEMILAC, RDA, QA, FlyTops, they have all been involved on the project from the day one. And that's why we never had any major challenges in getting the certification and the flight clearances from these agencies. Again, a very young team which participated from those agencies also and had kept the enthusiasm quite up to get the thing flown in time. A few more key features which would be embedded later will be weaponization. We are planning to have a 12.5 mm gun, have bombs 250 pound and 500 pound bombs, and make this aircraft ready for close air support and reconnaissance fuel, which is a key requirement as we go into the future. The per hour cost flying of this aircraft is fairly low as compared to a possible weaponized helicopter or a full-fledged fighter. So where you don't have an intense fight going on, where you require just close air support and recce load, this aircraft can do the job in 1/10 of the price which you would have otherwise incurred using the front-end fighter. And that will relieve the load on the front-end fighters. And as you start having cuts in defense budgets, the entire forces will start looking at multiple options which are available to use the existing inventory and complete the role within the short span of time. A few other parameters which need to be monitored is the overall upgradation capability of the cockpit. We are planning to embed one more glass cockpit display so the entire cockpit can replicate that of a front-end fighter. So a typical fighter plane will have 30% of time spent on the systems training. So the systems training time from those platforms can be done over here, and you can have a quick turnaround at a reduced cost. So that's what has been the overall functionality available. The cockpit throttle and the control stick has got HOTAS, hands-on throttle and stick, with an intention to have weaponization sooner or later. And once we are done with the stall and spin states, we'll start with the next version of it, which is weaponization platform of it. And next I'll take you around to show you the features of the cockpit and the other details of the aircraft. So let's go and have a look at the cockpit. So as I said, this is the 00 ejection seat which we have from Martin Baker, a very safe feature to have. So the cockpit is quite spacious, comfortable for any pilot to fly. The MIP has got a 6x8 smart MFD. It's got a 5x7 ECAS which displays all the ECAS functionality and the engine parameters. We have a standby display instrument, and then we have the GPS. This is the hands-on throttle and stick which I have been telling, where you have the weapon controls when we do it. The cockpit is fairly modular. Most of the instrumentation is from HAL. The cockpit displays come from HAL Korwa through a manufacturing POT with CMC Electronics. The ISIS is from Samtel Delhi. Entire avionics suite is coming from HAL Hyderabad. We have a throttle grip on the LH console, and then we have on the RH side the various control panels and the communication system. The pilots are fairly comfortable. Till date we have completed 49 flights, and as we speak today we will be taking up the 50th flight. The aircraft she's just 8 months old, and till date she has achieved her maximum altitude, she has achieved the top speed, and she has got all the G maneuverability done. She has done a 360-degree roll. She started flying inverted. Quite a lot of things to achieve in a matter of 8 months. The aircraft is very easy to handle. The pilots are fairly comfortable both with the lateral loads and the longitudinal rolls. and we intend to have the envelope expansion done quickly. By the middle of the year, as I told, we will be undertaking the stall and the spin chute test. For that, we need to put a parachute in the rear of the aircraft, which we call as the anti-spin gantry. With that, the aircraft is proven to be safe fully, and then you are allowed to take up the stall and spin test. That is the key challenge for any other program. The learnings from the predecessor of this aircraft, the HJT-36, have been taken into consideration in detail, be it in terms of the aerodynamic characteristics, the structural components, be it the stall and spin and the system commonality. We never tried to invent anything new. We are basically here as the integrators to make the airframe. So the philosophy was using COTS, existing solutions, make the aircraft fly, and then you can always add plugs in as you go further. So that has been the key requirement on the project. The entire thing is focused on indigenization. The Raksha Mantri has been very supportive of the program. In fact, this goes down as one of the most successful Make in India program. We had the Defence Minister review us more than 11 times in a year to make sure the program is on time. We had promised him that we will fly within a year from the day of completing the detailed design, and we flew it in 11 months, thereby reinstating his confidence in us. We intend to complete the certification by 2018 and hand it over to the forces for the training by 2019. That's all. It's an ambitious plan, fairly possible if you keep your metrics grounded well enough and work towards it. That's all from the cockpit. Thank you, and wish us luck that we reach there sooner and faster and keep the country's flag flying high. Thank you.